What's up, otakus? It's that time, end of the week, Friday. Hope all of you had a good week. I had a pretty busy week. I also picked up some comic books. We'll go over our haul first. Lots to talk about today. Um, some big news, and we'll get to that. But yeah, we'll start with the haul. And what I'm going to do on this video is a little bit different than what I've done in the past. Is we're going to reveal the books. We're going to reveal the books, and we're going to then grade the books. Yeah, so we'll reveal them, and we'll grade them, the haul, and then we'll get into some of the news that broke this past week. So this is going to be a fun session. And glad you guys can, you know, hang out, wait for the chat to come in, but it's all good. All right, so I've been Redmond. Well, let's start. I've sold some books and I've been able to get some cash. So I have about, I want to say like $70, maybe $60 now. I have about $60. I spent about $21 on all of these books, 16 books, $21. What's that math work out to? About $1.31 per book. So yeah, I mean, I'll go over what I spent on each book. And of course, that's not calculating tax or anything. It's just a little over $21 on 16 books. So let's get to it. Most of these books, so I got these books from one of two locations: the Redmond Half Price Books and Mill Geek Comics. So we're going to start with what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from like the least we spent to the most we spent. So for example, our first book, we paid a quarter for this, 25 cents. And yeah, it's a beautiful book. I think I shared this on a previous channel, on a previous stream with Naman Hyung. But I love this. I saw it and I was like, man, this is just a blast from the past. We've got pretty much like an ad for Radio Shack. But man, is this just a great cover here by Rich Buckler. And we've got the Luther, the Legion of Doom Luther there, and a Wonder Woman Superman cover. Kind of like a, like they're a duo or something. So just, and then they have the, Computer Whiz Kids, the computer TRS-80. And they got this bulky looking thing of a computer there with the tape cassette. Yeah, surprisingly, that's how computers read data back in the day. Like they read essentially digital information that was stored on like a analog tape. Yeah, I mean, that's just mind-boggling, but that's what computers used to run for, you know, probably the first part of the 80s. And then, it just technology kind of just improved. By the time the 80s were ending, it was like floppy disks. And then it went to like harder, smaller disks, and then CD-ROMs, and now it's USB. Like, I mean, now it's just like everything's in the cloud, in terms of software. So, uh, I mean, yeah, I mean, I kind of lived through that entire personal computing era, and this is just a nice reminder of that. When I was a kid, I was playing like Space Invaders and stuff off the Commodore 64 and all that. So it's just a nice nostalgia piece here. I think the only people that would appreciate like Radio Shack are the people who actually went there as a kid. And Radio Shack is a very tiny window. I mean, I think it like petered on for like a good several years, but this is the heyday of Radio Shack, right? When they were selling like remote controlled like walkie-talkies, calculators, and this these kinds of computers. Just an electronics hub. It was basically the Best Buy of the 80s. And like all good things, sometimes they don't last. And yeah, a lot of the technology that was sold in these are now just obsolete. And just, I mean, I'm sure they have some kind of nostalgic collectible value, but as for me, this book, right? But the most part, technology's moved on to other retail channels. So a little bit of nostalgia there. As for a quarter, well, I'm going to pick that up every day, all day. All right, this next book. So the next series of books are all 50-cent books that we picked up at Milky Comics. And I'm going to say Milky Comics, they recently did a sale where Rage Theo came in and he helped move a lot of Russ's inventory. Now, I didn't get to participate in any of those auctions or claim sales because, yeah, I didn't have money. I didn't want to sit on it and just be like, oh man, I want to get that. I didn't want to torture myself. So I purposefully just kind of avoided all that content. But Russ's shop went through this major overhaul. So for those of you local to the area, and if you've been there, you'll know what I'm talking about. But before, Russ had just $3 bins, and sort of like he had the artist bin, he had a 50-cent bin, which was the majority of the shop, and then he had he was selling some keys here and there, but that was about it. Well, the store is much more organized. They've got a wall of slabs. They have a slab section now. They also have like a growing keys section where he's got actual like graded keys priced out. They also have that in other sections of the store. There's sort of like a bundled section. And again, I think the shop is kind of transforming. And I think what you're going to see now is sort of categories of things. So like if you want to go in, get high grade stuff, the shop is kind of more geared toward that now, where he's grading everything, he's pricing things out. So yeah, I mean, it's good to see. But I was telling him, hey, look, no matter, I was telling John, the guy who works there, I was like, dude, no matter, I'm fine with the changes, but don't lose what you can do is you can drop the $3 bins to $2 or $1, but don't lose the 50-cent bins. And he assured me that the 50-cent bins will never go anywhere. That's what started. These just started with 50-cent bins, and all this other stuff's just been kind of slowly evolving. But the 50-cent bins, he said, will probably always be there. So we picked up. We picked up about. This was toward the end of the day today. We went through what we could, and I'm kind of proud of myself. I could have picked up a lot more because I found some John Byrne stuff. I found, some good 90s stuff. I found some Superman stuff. And I was able to kind of put a lot of it back because I realized, this is not core collection stuff. So I'm fine with not picking it up. And we only picked up $4, so 8 books from Mill Geek. We spent $4. That was it. I could have picked up some Bolland, but I thought it was a little, it was a little high priced for my taste. So I mean, I stayed disciplined. I didn't pick up, even though I wanted. And there was this great Superman Action Comics one that I was looking to pick up too, and I picked that one up. So fairly disciplined. Yeah, very very pleased with how that went about. All right, so the first book, again, 50 cents. We picked up Heroes for Hope, X-Men, number 1. This isn't a key, but this is just, for me, pretty cool. And we're going to get into this book. There are so many artists that worked on this book. I mean, it was basically an all-star billing of all the major writers, artists working in the industry at the time. And like when I go through the names, you're just going to be like, your jaw's going to drop. It's basically, a labor of love by the industry, the greats in the industry. And this is before Jim Lee's time, before a lot of the sort of modern artists' time. This was published in 1985, December. So I thought this was just a great cover by Art Adams, as well as, again, just a key issue for just the number of really just legendary creators in this. And we'll go through that list as we move along. This next book is a book I had. And I kind of, when I first got back into collecting, I had all these 90s books that weren't necessarily worth anything. And I just thought, why don't I just kind of sell them in like a big bulk and then use that money to buy something that I want? Well, I kind of regret having done that because there's a lot of good stuff in there, and stuff I should have kept. I think if you go, I don't think I was even doing videos at that point. I was just kind of like going to the comic shop, seeing what things were worth, and like just kind of reorienting myself to the hobby. But one of the books I sold was X-Men 33. Just because, I didn't particularly like, this is volume 2, 33. It was an Andy Kubert cover. I'd read the book. It's a pretty interesting book, but nothing compelling for me to keep it. But in hindsight, that was a book I probably should have just kept because it's from my original collection. All those books that I sold were from my original collection, so I should have probably kept all of them, because they're just things that I read and had in my collection. Well, I ran across this copy, really clean copy, 90s newsstand of the X-Men 33. So I thought, why not pick it back up? Um, yeah. Uh, the one I sold was a direct edition. So this one just feels like if I'm going to have this issue in my collection, it's a great cover, first of all. Now, nothing against Andy, but I just prefer his brother's art, Adam's art, to him. But Andy is the one who worked on the X-Men following Jim Lee. So, um, yeah, I mean, he's kind of featured throughout the X-Men art. Um, and another dynamic artist. And again, this is probably one of my favorite covers by Andy. You got the saber tooth attacking Gambit from the back. Nice, just nice rendering of both characters there. So yeah, picked up for 50 cents. 90s newsstand, never hurts. Another 90s newsstand. This is just a great battle between Ripclaw and the Pit. Silvestri cover. Now I've been meaning to pick this up, but I always told myself, if we're gonna pick it up, we're gonna pick up a newsstand copy. We're gonna pick it up for cheap, and that's what we did. 50 cents, newsstand copy. Couldn't leave it there, so pick that up. Now we're gonna get into my Jim Lee books. I picked up 5 Jim Lee books, which brings my total to 288 copies. Now, this isn't counting doubles. This is just 288 individual books by Jim Lee. And what I'm going to do is pretty soon I'm going to put out my top Jim Lee books in the collection. That's something that I do often. I usually do like cover my entire collection, but with 288 issues, I would really have to break it down into several, detailed episodes. I mean, we're talking about, even if I did like 50 books per session, I'm still I'm still about like 6 episodes just to go through 50 books at a time. So rather than doing that, I figured just a curated list of my 50 top Jim Lee books would be fun. So I'm going to start working on that, get the books out, and we'll go over the top 50 Jim Lee books. And I'm really going to select the Jim Lee books based on, their significance to me. Not their, because a lot of the Jim Lee books that are collectible have nothing to do with like key moments, key story. I mean, there are some keys. Don't get me wrong. There's keys. There are also keys because they're milestones or firsts that Jim Lee worked on as well. But for me, I'll go over why the book made it onto the top 50, and why that book deserves your attention if you're a Jim Lee collector. All right, well, the first Jim Lee book, again, 50 cents from not a lot of Jim Lee stuff in Russ's box, and I think I know why. I think it's because maybe Rage Theo sold a lot of the Jim Lee stuff. That's what I'm like. If there's like cool Jim Lee, like maybe a variant or something, like I probably picked through all the good stuff, pulled it out, stuff that Rage thought he could sell, or Theo thought he could sell, and maybe that's how they approached it. But for whatever reasons, there weren't the pickings were slim for Jim Lee stuff, but this one, beautiful Jim Lee, Tim Sale cover, Death Blow #4. There's a nice. What's nice about these Death Blows is like Tim Sale does a series of like interior, like pinups. Jim Lee and Tim Sale both do like interior pinups on this. So this one has the pinup, and yeah, just love this. Love this Death Blow run. Again, Jim Lee, Tim Sale. It just doesn't get, the artwork cannot be any more dynamic than these two guys working side by side. So that was great to see. Another book I've been kind of needing to pick up, not for Jim Lee art, but for Jim Lee's writing. He wrote this book with Brandon Choi and his Kindred #1. So this is just great Brett Booth, Sal Regla art here, and we got Backlash and Grifter on a cover. They kind of team up for this run. Book from 1994, and again, Jim Lee wrote the book. And I don't have to have this entire series. I just want to have like the #1, on a early sort of Jim Lee written book, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of goodness in this. A lot of nostalgic goodness in this particular issue. We'll get into this as we get creating it. We also picked up Transmetropolitan 26. Just a great Jim Lee cover there. I have 25. This is 26, and I think he does a cover on 27 as well. But this is just sort of a subdued. Got her main protagonist blowing cigar, smoke rings, drinking alcohol, and just has his feet up on a bunch of again 90s late 90s computer hardware, which was very bulky. So kind of stuff is just, again, these things are just like little windows into the time, and we're talking about a time that was, in terms of technology, what I love to see in these books when they cover technology is like how outdated that technology is. Like people are using landlines and or walkie-talkies and stuff. It's pretty funny. But yeah, here's a early laptop that looks like it weighs a ton. All right, so, and that was from 1999, mind you. It wasn't even that long ago, 20 years ago. This next one is one kind of I've had on my radar for a while. I just was never compelled to get it because it's not a key. It's not like a Jim Lee cover. But these are sort of like, they do little files on X-Men characters, right? And Strife, it's called Strife's Strike File. And we'll get into the artwork here, but again, Jim Lee and a bunch of really notable Marvel artists from that era, from that time, contribute to the artwork on these files. So this, it makes it a key Jim Lee book. Jim Lee is in here with, all the greats, Silvestri, even McFarlane's, I think, contributes to this. All the Marvel, Liefeld, all those guys are on this book. So kind of significant in that sense. Again, I think the only people that are really going to appreciate a book like this is 90s collectors like me. So yeah, who knows? We may see Strife at some point down the road. But Andy Kubert there doing the cover. A lot of interior artists here, contributions, Jim Lee among them. So that's a Jim Lee book that we've marked off our checklist. The next Jim Lee book. So okay, all of these have been 50 cents so far. The next one I was really happy to find for 50 cents. I mean, it's beat up. It's in rough shape. I can understand why it was in a 50-cent bin, but man, I will pick this up day in and day out. Early Jim Lee goodness right there. This is where Punisher and Wolverine team up. It's the first. So the previous issue is the first battle. This is the first team up, and a great first battle cover there between Wolvie and the Punisher. Yeah, this is just a great cover, and for 50 cents, I mean, I couldn't leave it there, even though it's in like rough shape. For 50 cents on a book like this, I don't mind having multiples. We're gonna clean this, and this is what this will, because it's a lot of this is like weathered humidity damage, and I've been telling you, like sort of what I want to do in retirement is really focus it on cleaning and pressing books, my own collection. So this is just a project. It's probably going to be one of my first. I don't want to say first. I want to get good at pressing and doing it, but this is going to be one of my sort of priority projects to get to a point where I'm comfortable and really get this book looking its best. So we'll go over the grade and grade this in just a moment. But for 50 cents, again, I couldn't leave this at Russ's. Had to pick it up. And really, out of these 50-cent books, this is sort of my favorite book from those 50-cent hauls. All right, here's one we paid $2 for at the Redmond Half Price Books. Redmond has this weird policy where it's not half price. So if half price of the cover is less than $2, it's just $2. So all of these books that I'm about to show you, well, not all, most of the books I'm about to show you are all like in the $2 range, or are $2. I paid $1.99 for them, and this is just a great cover here by Jim Lee. Got Suicide Squad. I think this is volume 5 from 2016. Great Harley Quinn cover and great sort of like, the new Suicide Squad there. You got Katana. You got what's his face? Croc. You got the Croc. What's his name? Croc. My mind's going blank. Sort of these are their tertiary characters, and of course Harley Quinn. She's sort of the mainstay of this squad here. Yeah, just a great Jim Lee cover. Pick that up all day for $2. We'll grade that one as well. This is a book I've been meaning to pick up. Anytime I was just like, if we can pick it up for cheap, we'll do it. And I figured $2 was cheap enough. This one is actually half a cover is, I think, $2.50, but all the $2.50 books they gave me for $2 for some reason. I guess the guy didn't want to do the math, or it's not really well written on the cover, so I think he just didn't want to pull it out and just said $2. So that's fine by me. But we got this I think this is Silvestri's first work on Batman, if I'm not mistaken. He gives Batman sort of this like pantsless, or I should say, underwearless look. What's with it? Come on, I mean, let's put the underwear back on these characters, okay? That's what. I don't see what the big deal is. Like, yeah, so you got your underwear back on your over your leotards. Big deal. I mean, that's how these characters were going out. It's they don't necessarily. You don't need to change the suit with the times, man. It's an iconic look, but I'm not gonna critique Silvestri's take on this. It's still a pretty dope cover. Yeah. Now they had all the other issues in this run, and I'm just like, I don't need all of them. Just get the first one in the run, and that should be good. You got enough going on here to sustain you with the Silvestri stuff. You got that great Joker. You got Batman. You got Harley Quinn playing with juggling grenades. Just some good stuff right here. So yeah, $2. We'll pick that up. We also picked up this great Sean Murphy Batman Beyond the White Knight. I think this is the first appearance of a new Robin. A Robin who I guess trains or is partnered with the Red Hood as well. But yeah, pretty cool. Nice cover there, first off. But this is a key because of that key character. This is available for sale or trade, so if you want it, send me an offer, as is the next book. I mean, essentially when you got like $30 books selling for $2, it's hard to just leave there. So I picked up Star Wars Jedi Academy. I think this has like 2 really key first appearances. 2 characters who haven't kind of been introduced in or I should say, have been introduced in the cinematic canon yet. But this Jedi Academy is like a Luke Skywalker kind of training academy, how he rebuilds sort of the Jedi Order. So something that would make sense to build that bridge and tell the story behind it at some point. But yeah, we got Star Wars Jedi Academy Leviathan. Now the newsstand on this is like $100. The direct issues are probably closer to like 30. But yeah, nice pickup there. These next 2 pickups are pretty outstanding in my view. Now they're mid-grade books, so I mean maybe they're not that outstanding, but pick these both up for $2 each. Now I already have a copy of this, and in fact the copy I have is what you're looking at here on the back of the book. So basically, I kind of double bag my doubles, so that they kind of show front and back. So this is the issue that I had. I picked up another issue for $2 at Half Price Books. Same newsstand copy. Similar grade. I think this one's in better grade. This one's a little worse. I'd put it at a 4.0, or I guess we could grade it. But my initial kind of like grading of it was like 4.0, maybe 3.5, around there. So yeah, not high grade, but again, it's a very key issue. I've gone over many times why this book is like undervalued. It's essentially the first battle between Wolverine and Sabretooth. So really kind of relevant as we head into Deadpool and all that. I'm really hoping they do more with Sabretooth, to be honest. He just needs to be utilized better. I know he kind of, there was a failure from the Fox standpoint when they did Wolverine Origins, but I mean they got to do that origin story right, because mind you, they kind of touched on it, but mind you, like Logan and Creed are like war buddies, right? They were part of the, they're part of the like Canadian, what was it, like spy program or whatever, and um then they became like mortal enemies. um and or, when I was collecting, the rumor was that because they both have the healing factor, so they're both kind of like genetically linked, right, with the same kind of powers. There was rumors that Creed reveals, "Hey, I'm your dad," and it kind of messes with Logan, and that remains sort of like a big question. Of course, it's revealed later that they're not father and son, but that was kind of like that relationship, right? They're always battling, and that ambiguity on whether they were truly father and son or not had remained. So anyway, great Barry Windsor Smith cover on a key issue. This is another one we picked up, newsstand. This one's also probably in the 4.0 range, possibly 5.0, 4.0, 5.0, in that area. We got this great John Romita Jr. cover, the Wolverine cover there. Boom. Great JR interior work as well. Key issue just for the sick cover right there. X-Men 207, again, $2. So yeah, I mean, picking up these two things for $2 was like, I mean, it just was like, yeah. Even though I picked up the second copy on this one, I didn't mind. I did kind of like, well, I already have the newsstand. Do I need another newsstand? And then my brain said yes, for $2. Yes, don't leave it there. And again, they're not like high grade or anything, but again, I'm gonna have fun cleaning and pressing these and making these look really, really nice at some point down the road. So picking these things up now rather than later, for me, it's no sweat off my back. I love the X-Men. It's one thing I think, as I'm kind of trying to revise like what we pick up and stuff, I haven't sacrificed the X-Men yet. So it's either a good or a bad thing, because there's a lot of X-Men out there. All right, now we're going to get to my book of the haul. Okay, this is the book of the haul. And if you've been watching my channel this week, I did reveal it on a short, but it's a beautiful copy. First off, I would venture high grade. Yes, I would venture high grade. I mean, not like 9s or anything like that, but this is definitely in the 7.0. Yeah, it's just, I will put it at like a solid 7.0. We got Superman 249. Don't mind the sticker, it's just in a new bag. I picked this up for $5. Now, this was priced out at $5 at Half Price Books, but it was, bagged and boarded. And again, in just really nice shape. You guys can go back and watch my Instagram post. Try to kind of pick up. Again, no major creases. That's the first thing that screams out at you. It's a yellow cover. Spine is, you got your share of spine ticks, but nothing crazy, right? You can see there, nothing crazy. Spine ticks here and there, but just it is an older book. It's an early Bronze Age book, but beautiful Neil Adams art. This is the first appearance of Terraman, who rides this winged horse, Nova. Kind of pops in here and there throughout the 80s and 70s and 80s. I think he's still around today, but I haven't read much. Maybe some minor character on some team, I'm sure. Anyway, just it's funny because he's just like a cowboy essentially in this episode, right? Just like a cowboy riding a winged horse. But again, anytime you can pick up sort of high grade Neil Adams Superman cover, that's, for me, that's gold. And $5 on a book like this is just like, yes, I'll do that all day, every day. So there's my haul. This is the book of the haul. That's my haul. Let me know what you think. I feel really good. I mean, obviously some of these books are like, I'm looking to sell, these are just like key books that have value in my opinion. So picking them up for $2 a piece down the road, selling them hopefully to somebody who values them, is kind of the mission. So these are going right into my kind of overflow trade sell box. And I'm, for the most part, this one's probably close to a 9.8. This one's probably close to 9.0. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I mean, they're very high grade, not a lot wrong with them. This one just has a couple, non-color breaking spine ticks, but everything else looks really sharp. This one has like absolutely nothing on the spine, sharp corners. It's a high grade book. So, yeah, just very high grades on those two books. I don't think we have to spend too much time grading that. Just know, actually I do have to mark them here. I think I did mark them though. I think I did grade a lot of these books. Let me just check. That was Batman White Knight. It's going to Beyond the White Knight. So Batman Beyond the White Knight we had at 9.6. Yep. And Star Wars. Actually, I didn't enter the Star Wars yet. That was a recent pickup, so let's do that now. Star Wars, Jedi Academy, Leviathan, Dark Horse from the late 90s. Oops, my keyboard went out again. There we go. Jedi Academy, Leviathan. Okay, this is Dark Horse. One direct edition. Oh, look at that. This is from 1990. They don't have it on the cover here. I'm going to have to look up the stats. Shouldn't do this during the stream, but I just got to. It's just kind of one of those things. Like, if I put it off till later, it'll never get done. All right, so Dark Horse, here we go. Man, this is annoying. Jedi Academy, Leviathan the Bloom. Here we go. All right, so cover artist Ray logo, and it's from October 1998. Ray logo. He's also the penciler is Dario Carrasco Jr., Kevin J. Anderson. I'm not going to put all that in because I could care less, but it's a 9. I'm going to say 9.0. It's actually probably higher than a 9.0, but I'm just going to go conservative 9.0. Did have a couple spine ticks on it. All right. We're going to get into grading now. I'm going to kind of take out the obvious, like this is also like a 9.8 candidate. It's very high grade. Put this at a 9.6. And these are just things that yeah, I mean, I can just give you a close-up view of it, but it's pretty much yeah, I had a 9.6 already. Okay, so that's something we graded. I mean, I'll just show you what it looks like, kind of just the spine. Usually you can get a good sense of what the book's grade is from the spine, right? I think you'll agree. 9.6 is in order. One thing I've realized, I think when it comes to low grade books, I have been grading kind of favorably on my collection. I don't know. I've just kind of been, for example, I was in Mill Geek today, and they had this beautiful Silver Age book that I was wanting to get. Now I looked at it. Of course, it was very surface level. I didn't open up the book or anything, but just based on the cover, I was like, "Wow, that's a nice looking copy." It looks like I graded at like somewhere between a 2.5 and a 3, but Russ had it at a 1.8. So either there's something on the back that I didn't see, and that could very well be the case. But based on my visual examination of the book, just the front, I thought it was higher. But again, Russ had it at a 1.8. Now there has to be a reason why that was a 1.8, but maybe it wasn't evident on the front of the book. But that got me thinking, like, am I just kind of missing something in terms of grading? Am I like not taking certain things into account that it should be lower grade when it has a certain specific issue? It just had me second guessing myself. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to continue to kind of grade these based on my calculus on what the grades are. But this is where, if you watch and you think, hey man, you're kind of giving yourself, like you're kind of grading too positively on a lot of these books. By all means, let me know, because I don't want to go through this whole exercise week to week and be misgrading all of these, especially lower grade books. I wouldn't be misgrading them, giving them higher grades when they should be lower. But for the most part, I think, I'm trying to, again, given my experience of having researched how the grading system works and looked at a bunch of books and kind of gone over different grades via CGC and all that. Hopefully it is somewhat on point, but that's the tricky thing about grading. Like two people can look at the same book and have very differing kind of opinions about what the grade should be. And so anyway, this whole exercise is just to kind of get better at doing it. So I think second guessing is a good thing, because that's making us kind of take pause and really examine the book as we do it. So I guess we'll start with, let me just see if I already have this Superman Radio Shack book graded. I try not to grade the books as they come in, but I think I may have done that for some of these. So Superman, Wonder Woman, Radio Shack. Here it is. Nope, I didn't grade it. All right, we'll just go down through the pile then. We'll go through this stack and we'll just grade them. All right, this should be a lot of fun. Okay, let me just tilt the camera down here. All right. Hopefully my camera doesn't give me grief with the focusing today. Okay. Now, this one is probably going to be, it's got some issues, nothing major. I would say there's small issues. So let's open this and see what we're working with here. Just going to take it out. Hang on. Get some tape stuck on it. Eesh. Oof. All right. Gotta take it out of the bag. Kind of. I mean, it needs to be pressed anyway, but the little tape stuck on there. I think we did add some stress lines there. No biggie. So the biggest thing is there's just a lot of little stress lines throughout the book. Nothing color breaking except right here in the corner. You can see there's some minor creasing right there. So this is gonna get us to a mid-grade 5.0. It's like a 5.0 copy, I'd say. The spine is actually decent. Nothing color breaking. So again, with the nice press, I mean, this could look really nice. The back is fairly clean as well. This is this is essentially just a Radio Shack ad. So if you look throughout the book, there's no ads. It's just there's actually a story here, but the main thing is they use the Radio Shack computers to solve the crime or the save the day, right? They're talking about microchips. Just classic stuff right here. And we got beautiful Kurt Swan art on the interiors. I mean, what's not to love about this book, right? For the people that were collecting in this era, or were just kids in this era, and you went to Radio Shack and picked up this free comic book. And what's not to love about this? All right, let's not tear the book here. What's not to love about this? So yeah, I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna grade this at a solid 5.0. It's actually a pretty nice looking copy. So solid mid-grade book. So we'll go with 5.0. All right, moving right along. I think this one also is gonna be in the mid-grade. There's kind of a lot of issues with this book as well. We're gonna do some cleaning on this one. Hopefully get it looking nice and spiffy. We've got some splooge here. I don't know. It's a stain of some kind. You can see it right there. Some kind of nasty stain there. Maybe some water or mildew type stain. It's white. It's not really miscolored. This one, like the other one, just a lot of little stress lines. There looks to be a crease here at one point, not color breaking, fortunately. So that could press out nice and clean, which is good. But there is a crease there, but I think that's a pressable. A little bit of a color break, I guess it would show through. The main thing is these stains. There's stains down here too. Just like, I don't know what those are. It looks like somebody spilled pop or something on it. Who knows? Yeah, the stain goes up through here all the way down across this. So that's kind of unsightly. A lot of little stress lines here and there. Another little corner crease here on the top, but nothing color breaking there either. Spine, got a series of spine ticks, nothing really major. The book's nice and connected. You got some John Romita Jr. art just right off the get-go. Look at all this great, page to page, you got a different artist working on it, it seems, which is incredible when you think about it. So here are the list of artists that have contributed. Now, mind you, it's a big list, but the writers, we got Stan Lee, Ed Bryant, Louise Simonson, Ed Bryant, Stephen King, Bill Mantlo, Alan Moore, Ann Nesenti, Harlan Ellison, Chris Claremont, Joe Duffy, it's basically everybody at Marvel. Denny O'Neil, George Martin, Bruce Jones, Steve Englehart, Jim Shooter, Mike Grell, Archie Goodwin. And pencils, you got John Romita Jr., John Buscema, Brent Anderson, John Byrne, Brent Anderson, Bernie Wrightson, Charles Vess. The list just goes on. Inkers, you've got I mean, this is the Hall of Fame of inkers here. Al Gore, Klaus Johnson, Joe Sinnott, Terry Austin, Dan Green, Jeff Jones, Al Milgram, Bill Sienkiewicz, Carl Potts, Sal Buscema, Bob, I mean, letterers. He pretty much got everybody a Marvel, I think. Story by Claremont Nesenti writes and I mean, my goodness. Classic. Everybody doing their X-Men, coming out with their A game on the X-Men here. Some of it is just like that right there. That's Sienkiewicz. That's Sienkiewicz written all over it. At least to me. Look at that, just beautiful artwork. If you're into this, kind of Mohawk Aurora here. That's the age we all were reading and loving back in the day. Wow. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. So this was a really nice pickup. You got Jim Shooter writing a letter here at the end. Oh, this is just gold. Got a nice little back cover here as well. That is in great shape right there, the back cover. This looks like a Byrne back cover. No, who is that? Can't tell. But anyway, beautiful. What a great book. All right, so we're going to do some cleaning on this book. Just get it looking much better than it looks at the moment. All right, so sprayed a little bleach action here. Let it dry a little bit. We're just going to do, there we go. Just get some of that dirt off. This is an old book. It's got a lot of surface dirt on it. Just trying to get that surface dirt off. Looking clean. As you can see, some of it's coming off a little bit. Again, this is, I think, just a more long-term labor of love on my part. At some point, we're gonna definitely, there are a lot of areas for eraser time on here, just getting the whites whiter. A lot of opportunities to press and get it looking absolutely fabulous. But we got a complete book, beautiful back cover here, back cover art too, on what is just like a Marvel labor of love for famine relief and recovery in Africa. This was the We Are the World. Yeah, this is right around the time that We Are the World, when the musicians came together, and Live Aid. This is sort of the same, I guess, the comic book version of Live Aid. And but what a special, great cover work by Art Adams, who was the X-Men dude, one of the X-Men people at the time. Yeah, this was a little bit before my, I didn't get into X-Men. Well, actually, I was getting into X-Men right around this time, but I don't recall this. I should say I was getting into comic books right around this time. I wasn't into X-Men quite yet, but this was you know, now that it's on my radar, it's actually really it's a book I really want to take care of and preserve. And I love stuff like this. This is why you earn into the hobby, when you have all these like great artists in a book. Um, really shows you sort of the culture of the industry, and Stan Lee, looks like Stan Lee led this effort at Marvel, and everybody just came together and um, did their part. Great, yeah, and again, a great cover by Art Adams. So where do I put this grade? I'm going to put this at a 5.0 as well. I think this is a good, solid mid-grade copy, just like that. I mean, the only knock on this, I would say, would be the dinge. It's just a little dingy. Got some of the dirt off just now, but that's the only thing I would really say kind of hurts this book, is the dirt. So, but again, after press, I think it would look really, really good. I'm confident you can get a grade bump with a nice press here. So let's see here, X-Men Heroes for Hope. Where are we gonna put this at? We're gonna say 5.0. A solid mid-grade book here. All right. 2 down, more to go. This book here is really, really, it's a nice book. I'm thinking this is going to be like a 9.2, possibly higher. For a newsstand, that's just really, really rare. I don't see much wrong on the surface level of the book. Got sharp, maybe a little bit of a dull corner there. Another little corner, kind of a mild corner crease there. Other than that, there's a spine tick here, kind of a major one, but nothing that color breaking. I think, yeah, it doesn't break color, fortunately. Maybe a little bit, but definitely this is another example of a book that could really benefit from it. Why is my camera doing this? It's so annoying. I gotta really think about getting a new camera here. Gee, that's annoying. All right, well, hopefully it gets into focus at some point. There's the color. I mean, the spine tick right there, spine stress. You can see it right there, right in that light. But again, it doesn't really break color if it chooses the focus at all. There we go. Jeez, that was annoying. So there we go, right there. It's kind of where the spine tick is. Doesn't really break color. We're going to take a look at the back. Oh yeah, back looks beautiful. So again, with the press, whew, look at that back. With the press, this newsstand copy, I'm putting it at a 9.2. I'm putting it at a 9.2. I think it with a good press, this could be, I almost want to say it could be like a 9.8 candidate. Well, that I don't know this. So we're looking at 9.6. I think that if we can iron tack that out, it would be 9.8, but that's hard to do. So for now, I'm just gonna say 9.6 potential, but as is, it's a 9.2. Well, what a beautiful newsstand copy this is. 90s newsstand. I'm talking about 92. This was 93. Sorry. This was 90. This is number 3, right? Yeah. So this is from 1992. Oops, hang on. This is from 1992. Wow. Just absolutely mind-boggling. I want to say this is January too. This is Pitt versus Repaw cover. And we're putting this at a 9.2 for a newsstand copy. Beautiful, beautiful book. And again, we got it for 50 cents. That's what's crazy. Like, this is my what I collected back in the day. Just a classic. This is just. I don't think the direct copy is necessarily a must-have for a Silvestri collector, but this is volume 1 of Cyberforce. It was a 4-issue limited series, but to have this in a newsstand and the grade that it is, I think that's a nice book right there. Newsstand copy of a beautiful cover by Silvestri. Pitt versus Ripclaw there. Sick. That's just sick. For 50 cents, man. This is another sick pickup, to be honest. Another high grade newsstand. I think this one also stands to be at least a 9.0 copy. Okay, so we got, yeah, this is even better than the previous one. Spine is super clean. Jeez. Really got lucky with this newsstand copy. Let's see here. Yeah, look at that back, man. Holy schmoly. Is that high grade? And this is got a nice Beavis and Butthead ad on the back here. This is 90s porn right here. I'll show you what we're looking at here. Got some Beavis and Butthead action. Adam Kubert artwork. The Flair Marvel cards ads there. Yeesh. So this is, oh man, I'd hate to say it, but this is like a 9.6. I just don't see much wrong with this book. This is a 9.8 potential too. Just absolutely clean for a newsstand copy. Mid 90s newsstand copy. I mean, these are where the ratio starts to drop to 10-1. So, I mean, I would put this value at, this is like a $20 book, right? In this grade for sure, at least, probably higher, but let's see, X-Men 33. I'm gonna See, this is where I was talking about earlier, where on a book like this, I want it to be a 9.8, right? A 9.8 newsstand from the 90s. Like, I just, that would just put the value over the top. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to just, I mean, to be honest, if I saw any sign of a flaw on this book, I would say it's a 9.6. Any sign of a flaw. But I looked at the back. I'm looking at the front spine right now. I mean, it's super flawless. So I'm going to go 9.8 on this one. I don't normally grade it to perfection, or I shouldn't say perfection, but to a 9.8. But this one is just hands down, like, I don't see how it couldn't be. It's just really, I'll just show you like the surface. Like, it's absolutely just flawless. So yes, I'm gonna go on a limb and say it's a 90s newsstand 9.8. And I know I shouldn't get this book graded, but hopefully this book gains a little bit of a following. It is a great cover. It's Andy Kubert, Scanded Sabretooth, two characters that I think have really potential to explode when they're introduced. And they will be introduced. We're already getting some multiverse versions of Sabretooth. You can expect Gambit. If he doesn't show up in Deadpool, he'll show up at some point. So yeah, man, this is just a, it's just one thing. Like, when I got this book, I was like, yeah, great. But knowing the condition now, it's just that much better. I mean, I didn't even think it was 9.8, but I actually thought this Cyberforce was the better grade book. I thought this probably had some flaws on it, but this copy is flawless, man. Just ridiculous how flawless that is. All right, now this Jim Lee book has issues because I did kind of take out and see. So it's not going to be high grade like those other books, and it's a direct edition, so it doesn't matter. But what I would like to do is kind of show you the interior, show you some great Tim Sale art here. Look at that. We got a great Tim Sale pinup of Deathblow too, which is really cool. Here it is. Let me just get that out of the way. Boom. This nice Tim Sale pinup. I can't really show you the whole thing, but Deathblow. So yeah, this book just, like, if you look at not a lot of ads, right? These image books, just perfect stuff. Yeah, well, anytime we pick up Jim Lee Deathblow, it's a good thing. So I wasn't in a rush to finish this run of Deathblow. Or actually, not run, I shouldn't say run, but like the first 10 books of Deathblow is kind of where I'm targeting. Wasn't in a rush to do it. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 now. I guess the next one we could target is 5. But yeah, just taking my time on these. I'll pick all of these up eventually. But this is a pretty Pretty badass cover there by Jim Lee and Tim Singh. I'm gonna put this at a solid. I'll put it at a solid 9.0. There's just a couple of stress. I mean, maybe a stress line or two here. For the most part, sharp corners. Everything's there. So, yeah, 9.0's kind of being conservative. So, does have a few issues, but nothing major. All right, so Death Blow. I keep saying Death Stroke. It's Death Blow. Number 4, we're going to put at a 9.0. There we go. All right, this Kindred. Put it a 9.0 as well. Just got like maybe a spine tick there. Don't have to spend much time on that. It's not a big book anyway. Kindred. We're going to say 9.0. It's probably higher actually, but I'm never going to get this actually graded. All right, this Transmetropolitan has issues. Let's open it up, see what they are. We got some spine ticks, lots of spine ticks on a dark cover here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is an 8.5. Corners are sharp. Some stress lines, nothing a press couldn't fix. Just look through this book. This is a late 90s book. Not sure what Uncle Levi's had from the late 90s. Yeah. All right. I think 8.5 is a fair grade. Whoops. 8.5 looks to be fair. Just got a series of spine ticks along the edge there. Nothing. Sorry, 99 is when this book came out. Jim Lee, 99. His Blue Period. Jim Lee, Blue Period. What better reflection of the Blue Period than a bottle of booze and smoke rings? All right. All right, this next one's going to be special in the sense of what that Heroes for Hope book was. If you enjoyed the Heroes for Hope book, I think you would probably enjoy this one as well. All right, this tape is just doesn't want to cooperate with us, so I'll just take it off. All right, this one I think also is going to be high grade, which is good. Got a couple stress lines here. Some stress lines here at the bottom as well. Nothing color breaking. Could use a press. Now, this, let's go over the people on this book, okay? I'm just gonna. This is really a book, I think. It's really kind of one of those things if you'd only want if you were collecting in this era. This cover date, January 1993. Writers, Fabian Nicienza and Scott Lobdell. Pencilers, Larry Stroman, Andy Kubert, Craig Capullo, Brandon Peterson, Jim Lee, Will Spartacio, Mark Silvestri. Inkers, Jimmy Palmiotti, Al Milgram, Mark Farmer, Andy Kubert, Harry Candelario, Dan Panosian, Scott Williams, Art Thiebert. So, somewhere in the interiors of this book, you're going to see Jim Lee, Scott Williams artwork. And there we go. And wow. This is the page right here. We got Psylocke. And we got Archangel. Boom. Some Jim Lee freaking goodness right there. A little Mark Silvestri right there. Okay, you got another Jim Lee Wolverine there. Whew, this is fire. Let me show you the Jim Lee Wolverine. Right there. Got some Jim Lee Wolverine right there. Okay. So this is sort of just like a, kind of like a, I guess like battle cards or something. We got Liefeld. They're just really excerpts. Looks like they just took out, scenes from comic books and just pasted it on here. So the artists are getting credit. It's not like they're doing anything original in this book. They're just samples from the previous artwork. So you got a lot of Jim Lee. You got Jim Lee on like Psylocke. Got some Kubert there. You got a lot of Jim Lee on the X-Men because they obviously Marvel knew how to milk the Jim Lee artwork on X-Men. Again, this is a book that came out post Jim Lee's departure, post Mark Silvestri's departure, post Will Spartacio's departure. So good way to just kind of recycle their art on a book. But nice sort of nostalgic 90s title here. I love it. For 50 cents, this book looks to be in high grade as well. I don't mind. Again, it is a Jim Lee, as Jim Lee credited in the book, so it's technically a Jim Lee book. Post Image departure book. That's pretty cool. All right, so great pickup. I just love these 50-cent pickups. They're Jim Lee books that, I think most collectors wouldn't necessarily take the time to dig for or search for. But if you are a Jim Lee collector, man, this is the kind of stuff. It's the kind of stuff you live for. So this one also I'd put in the 9.0 category. So we're going to put it in 9.0 Strife strike file. Yeah, I had it at 9.0. Being at 9.0. All right. This next one, put it at 9.0 as well. Well, it's got a series of spine ticks. Let's see. Got a series of just color breaking spine ticks just along the edge here. So I would put this at an 8.5. Yeah, the kind of break color on the back too. That back is not helping me at all. It's a very dark black cover. No creases or anything, just a bunch of little spine stresses. It's a great color. This is a Jim Lee interior book. It's beautiful. It's actually a very nice book to have on a first issue. Suicide Squad first issue. So we'll go 8.5 on this. Don't need to rack my brain on it. Just got some flaws there. Suicide Squad. Where did we put this at? Yeah, I put an 8.5 already. All right, so these we've graded already. Let's see here. So I think I did do this one already, right? We can go over this book. I actually want to kind of, yeah, before we get to sort of these like, sort of these higher valued keys, let's go over this one first. For those of you who are Jim Lee collectors, now this is an issue I don't have yet. I mean, I have this issue, but what I'm trying to say is the issue in this run that you probably want to go out and get is Punisher War Journal number 4. And the reason you want to get Punisher War Journal number 4 is that is the first time Jim Lee on pencils, Scott Williams on inks work together. That's their first interior work together. And that's Punisher War Journal number 4. Now, I don't have that book. I have Punisher War Journal number 5, which is their first full work together, meaning from page 1 to the final page, exclusively those two on every panel working as pencil and inker. So Punisher War Journal number 5 is significant in that respect, but it's not the first. It's kind of like the debate, first cameo appearance versus first full appearance. So number 5 is the first full appearance of Jim Lee, Scott Williams, but number 4 is the partial sort of appearance, meaning Scott Williams shares inking duties with some other dude, and it's just Jim, kind of splitting. Two guys splitting inking duties for Jim. But it is the first, so I think in terms of having the actual first, the number 4 issue is probably the one you want to target. Number 5, if you want the first full complete, but those are just two. They're inexpensive. You can go out, probably get them for like $2 right now online if you want to get them. High grade copies as well. I am still waiting to get pickup for. I've had a couple opportunities, but I really want to pick up the newsstand copy if I can. But we'll pick that one up at some point. No rush in that, unless this video starts affecting the market somehow, which I doubt. With one person tuning in right now, I doubt that's going to happen. But yeah, this one has issues. It's got a lot of like water type damage. And it's got a fair amount of like stress lines as well. It's very weathered. I feel like this was like sitting out somewhere. It's got a fair amount of dirt on it too. So let's just start with a nice cleaning here. Let's start with a nice cleaning. Now, at some point, there's going to be a labor of love. Like I said, I am going to clean and press this book. I think pressing will get some of this like weathered. Oh, look at that. There's just a bunch of gunk on there. So let's just get as much of that gunk off as we can. But there's no wrinkles. There's no, sorry, I shouldn't say wrinkles. There's no creasing in this book whatsoever. So still a remarkably sound book. Got a lot of surface dirt. That's it. So yeah, a lot of room for improvement on this one. Again, it's just this weathering that's caused sort of this stiff, like water. It looks like water damage, but it's just, I think, humidity damage. I don't want to. It's not water. It wasn't exposed to water. It's just a lot of weathering and elemental damage, I think, which isn't so bad, I guess. I'm going to spray a little bit more bleach here. Love it. Give you a little taste of the interior here. Yeah, so like I think the humidity, it's there's a lot of little staining, and man, it's just beautiful artwork right there. Really, Jim Lee is just so stark and incredible. Yeah, a lot of just staining and books in rough shape. A lot of dirt on the interior there, you can see. So yeah, again, there's going to be like a labor of love, because you have to individually go in and just kind of wipe these pages. I think the better thing would be to use Rogers like filtration, but I don't know how you could do it on the pulp. The pulp here is the interior of the book here is the thing that would be difficult to clean. The cover, I think you could get looking really clean with the filtration, but the interior part of this book, is not much we can do except wipe it off. But yeah, for 50 cents, it's not like we had any misgivings that this was going to be like a high grade book. I'd say overall, with all the damage and the staining and all that, I'd put this at a 2.0. Well, no, let's go 2.5. I think it deserves a little bit more than, because there's no creasing really. There's no major creasing, just a lot of stress lines, a lot of water damage. So I'm gonna go 2.5. That may even be too generous. We'll go. We'll go 2.5. I don't think. No, we'll go 2.0. I think 2.0 is fair. 2.5 might be a little too. Yeah, 2.0 is fair. Again, with the press and all that, maybe it'll present a little better. I think there's definite room for improvement here on this cover, just to get it looking sharper and smoother, smoothing out all these rough lines there. But yeah, the artwork still comes through. So That's all that really matters there. And again, we couldn't do much cleaning on it. It's weathered throughout the book. It's like the humidity damage seeped into the entire book, and it just dried out, and that's kind of what you're left with, just sort of this weathered, dirty book that looks great though. Again, 50 cents. It's kind of what you'd pay for a great a book in that grade. And for Punisher War Children was 6. All right. So this Uncanny X-Men, I've already gone to through the process of grading this. So I'll just tell you, I know I haven't shown you the book I actually picked up. This is my previous copy. The book I picked up is on the back, but it's not as good as this previous book. So previous books really clean, except for maybe 2 sort of color breaking spine ticks on the spine there, and a couple other stress lines, and then just sort of a faint crease. I think it's pressable. No, but it does break color. So that's the only thing. And I put this at like a 5.0 as well. 4.5 maybe. Let's see what I have to grade at. Just give me a second here. Uncanny. Yeah, Uncanny 212 I had. Oh yeah, okay, so I had this one at a 6.0, and I had the back one at a 5.0. Because they're very similar, except the creasing is just a little bit more pronounced, and the back one's got a long crease from here to here that breaks color. So both kind of decent in terms of the condition. They just both have, like, this one sort of a more minor crease on the cover, the other one a little bit more like of a heavier crease. Those are the only real differences. So yeah, I had a 6.0 and a 5.0. I'm gonna probably change that around to go conservative, go 5.0 on this one and 4.0 on the other one. I think 6.0 just might be a little, well, this does have, the corners are still decent. I'll go 5.5 and 4.5. I think that's a good compromise. All right, that's what we'll do. All right, this next one we'll open up and grade, because I think I already did the due diligence on this one as well. 207, we had it at a 6.0. I'll just show you what we're doing. Maybe I don't even have to take it out of the bag. I'll just show you through. So we've got a series of spine ticks, bright color. We've got sharp corners, no creasing, nothing. The major thing is like the edge here. We've got a little bit of a tiny tear right there, and then just a lot of indentation. So just like a raggedy edge there. I guess that's the best way to put it. And a lot of little just stress lines that don't break color throughout the. So again, with the press, I think it would look fabulous. So we had this at a 6.0. But yeah, the excellent looking copy there. All right, and the Superman we're not going to take out. I did kind of show you what it looked like. think earlier. We can just kind of do a through the bag grading on this one as well. This one looks, again, this is just fabulous. I have it at a 7.0. I really think it has the potential to be much higher though. This is 249. Where did I have it at? Yeah, I had it at 7.0. I think it has the potential to be higher. If we press it, get it looking really sharp, maybe do some eraser time along this edge in the back, get the whites looking, get that white border looking really white. I haven't even wiped this down yet. I should probably do that at some point, but I just don't want to like take it out. It just looks so nice. I don't want to risk. Yeah. As is, I think 7.0, the press, possibly 7.5 or higher. Even a 7.0 is like the thing that makes me think it's even higher than a 7.0 is there's just not, I mean, there's not much wrong with the book. You got just maybe some dull corners. That's about it. There's no creasing, just really minimal spine. There's just that's just a dingy spine. That's all. But in terms of there's no real spine wear anywhere on the book. Again, like this part up here just pops. It's very like vivid. I guess I could show the back just to kind of re-emphasize. Like, you'll probably get a better look at how flawless the surface of that book is. So take a look at the back. You can see we got a little bit of a chip here. So yeah, I mean, even with that, I think, well, there's a chipping doesn't really help. Yeah, it went from 7 to, I think we took it out. There's a little chip in the back there. Yeah, I think it's still a 6.0 even with that. So we'll go from 7 to 6, which is still really good for this book, I think. Yeah, that's a real bummer. Because, I'm telling you, without that chip, this is a stellar looking book. But good thing we did look in the back there. So that does change the calculus on the book a little bit, but not by much. Still a beautiful looking book. So yeah, in terms of paying $5 for it, I don't think we got. I'm just gonna make it a 6.0 instead of a 7.0. And we'll make it mid-grade instead of high grade. Closer to mid than high. Still a beautiful book. All right. That does it for the grading portion. I'll bring you back up here. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Again, these days I'm not going crazy with the hauls. I am trying to stay focused on what I collect, and a lot of this is just Jim Lee stuff, like Mark Silvestri stuff from the 90s. I don't mind, like this Adam Kubert. Man, this is just, I mean, this is 98 potential. I can get that graded. I won't, but I would just love to see what it comes back as. And I think this book, fucking cool is that book? So we got a lot of cool books. Um, yeah, I think these are just books that are just, I love collecting these kinds of books here, the ones with like multiple artists and, although this one's sort of a cheat. This is like using the artist's artwork to sell a book. Whereas this one's actually like everybody's coming together and working to tell a story. So this one is a really cool one. I'm really glad I picked that one up. But yeah, there's a lot of good Jim Lee stuff here. A lot of good 50 Cent pickups. So absolutely, very, very pleased with the haul. Yeah, I love this pickup, but it was a little bit of a bummer to see that little edge chip there. It's, this at some point could have been something we got graded, but now with that chip, just don't think it'd be worth doing that. So that's a little bit disappointing, but hey, still a great book. Still presents beautifully from the front. So that's kind of the main thing right there. All right. So this week was a big news week. We got a couple of announcements on social media that has me really excited about what's coming up. So there's a lot of buzz around James Gunn's Superman. They've released, I shared with you last week, they released a picture of the S on the suit. Looks great, by the way, but it's not the classic Superman S. It's sort of the more sort of modern, sleek design, and we'll get to the design in a minute. Another thing is they're filming the principal photography in Norway, so shooting the scenes for the Fortress of Solitude. Okay, so we know we kind of expected that, right? That Superman would have the Fortress of Solitude, and that got kind of confirmed through all the photography stuff. But what was interesting was, I think, James Gunn was asked, other than the 1978 Christopher Reeve film, what about the character influenced you or is influencing you on this book? And James Gunn was just kind of like the first to say, hey, look, there's so much about in the comic books. There's really too much in the comic books to mention. But he kind of, I think he had some images and stuff on his phone or whatever, but he shared on Threads a series of images from the comic books. And we have the Superman Legacy, the Frank Quitely artwork on that. He shared some panels from that. And he shared, some classic Superman family, like a Superman family image with Lana Lang, Supergirl, Mr. Mxyzptlk, all that. Not to say they're coming to his version, he's just saying these are the stories, these are the images that influenced me. The one very notable image in there was this one. So we already know we're getting the yellow-red version of this Superman symbol, the chest logo. And there's a question, will we see underpants or no underpants? I think he's subtly communicating since we already got this S, we're gonna get this version of the suit, which is an underwear suit. So we're getting the underwear. I think that's pretty. It's a cryptic way of saying we're getting the underwear by showing an image like this, because he already revealed this S. So it doesn't make sense to share this image with this design of the S and not put the underpants on Superman. So there you go. You know, I am 99.9% certain you're going to see red underpants in our Superman Legacy version. And you can say you heard it here first or second or whatever. Like, just give me credit. If it ends up being true and you heard it here and you are doing a channel or you're doing a social media post or you're just shouting it on Twitter or Threads or wherever, give me a shout out. Say, Otaku called it. Otaku called it. All right. So there are a lot, I call a lot of things. A lot of things happen. So I think, a lot of things don't happen either, but I think on certain things I have been right. And this is another one. The next thing I'm going to share with you is another thing I called it, but I just didn't think it was going to be so soon. I thought this is something we're going to see at the end of Jim Lee's career. I didn't think we'd see it so soon, but Jim Lee. Okay, so the thing I called was that I said, when it's all said and done, I think I can see Jim Lee going back to Marvel and kind of finishing up his career or doing something with Marvel right before he retires. And just closing the loop on the X-Men. So I just said, I just foresee a future where Jim's back at Marvel, he's doing X-Men, and he comes full circle. Maybe it's Punisher War Journal, maybe it's Alpha Flight, whatever. He's back at Marvel, and it's full circle in terms of that. Now, I don't think that's a very bold prediction. It just kind of makes sense when you think about who Jim Lee is and how long he's been working in the industry and all that he's done for DC. It just would make sense at some point he returns his focus on where he kind of got his start. But we got a reveal from Jim on social media today, or this past week, where he shared what he's working on. And man, I cannot be more excited about this particular project. And it's going to cause a lot of people to spec on stuff. And it's right now it's fairly kind of under the radar because Jim made an announcement, but I haven't seen it explode. And I think when you really truly understand what Jim Lee is saying is happening, more fans will be like, what the F? Like, are you freaking serious? So he shared this image on social media. Okay. And if you don't know what you're looking at right there, let me just read what he wrote. Jim Lee says, few things say peak 90s than these designs from the Amalgam universe, the once-in-a-lifetime hybrid universe created by DC Official and Marvel publishing units back in 1996, now being reprinted in omnibuses with these two new covers that I penciled here, which abut together to form a double pager. So he's doing 2 covers on a omnibus of this series right here. Marvel versus DC. He's doing an amalgam cover. If you know what, if you've read this, what the amalgam is they take the popular characters. So, for example, there's Dark Claw, which is an amalgam of Batman and Wolverine. And you've got an amalgam of like Superman and I think it's Superman and I want to say it's Superman and Spider-Man, is it? That's what I want to say. But let me make sure. Let me be certain. I'll give you the names of these amalgam characters in just a moment. Hang on. Gotta look it up. But yeah, I mean, it's insane that this is coming. It's essentially, yeah, so we got amalgam of, we got Dark Claw, we got Dr. Doomsday, we've got Super Soldier, Captain America, and Superman mashup. So, excuse me, that's Spider-Man. It's Superman and Captain America. So, Super Soldier, Doctor Strange Fate, Spider Boy, Spider-Man and Superboy mashup, Lethal, a Craven and Cheetah mashup. You got Deadeye, which is Bullseye and Deadshot, Night Creeper, Nightcrawler and Creeper, Amazon, Wonder Woman and Storm, and Wraith, Gambit and Obsidian. So Jim Lee is doing a 2-part cover with all those amalgam characters. And all those amalgam characters make their first cameo appearance in this book. DC, Marvel versus DC. So maybe you could care less, but for a collector like me, it's like the best news ever. And the fact that they're going to be Jim Lee covers, I have to get those omnibus, the 2-part covers. I just have to get them now. So I'm going to be looking forward to getting that. But more importantly, Jim Lee's doing something for Marvel for the first time in decades, right? He hasn't done anything for Marvel outside of Marvel ripping off his work. Like legitimately created something new for Marvel since he departed in 91, 92. So this is his first work for Marvel in more than 30 years. So very significant. Again, I couldn't be more excited because it's anytime you have these like big projects where DC and Marvel come together and they actually agree, hey, you know what, this is at some point gonna be a studio thing. It's gonna be a studio thing because think about it. Once the DCEU, Marvel's kind of down right now, but DCU's rising, right? So we're gonna get DC on the rise. DC's gonna make a comeback, and then DC's gonna generate all this revenue. Marvel's gonna be in the background doing that stuff too. And then at some point, they're gonna be like, dude, make it happen. DC versus Marvel, and you're gonna get the amalgam characters. You're gonna get some kind of DC versus Marvel, the crossover, where like Superboy's fighting Spider-Man or Superman's fighting Hulk. You can get all this stuff. So you got to be like a geek to, I guess, truly appreciate the significance of this kind of crossover I know they're just kind of reprinting this in an omnibus, and marketing it as some kind of nostalgic, but go out and buy the book. If you want to see this DC Marvel universe happen, you've got to send that message to the publishers that this is something you want. If that book doesn't sell, or that there's no interest in this book is generated, goes back into like sort of the the waste bin of maybe down the road. You know what I mean? But if it has all kinds of like chatter on social media, you got people buying the books, you got people going back and buying the back issues and just talking about it, chattering about it, building buzz, it will happen. So that's the other thing I thought was just really like exciting to just share with you guys, because it was kind of under the radar when Jim announced it. It was under the radar. I don't think a lot of people reshared it or were talking about it. I got word of it late, but when I did get word of it, I was like, hell freaking yeah, man. I was like, it's about freaking time we get some. Always in the back of my mind, I knew like Marvel versus DC, you're gonna see it at some point. It's just too it's too lucrative of a movie concept to not do. And in fact, you've seen Marvel DC kind of do crossovers, even prior to this, even after this, with specific characters and specific IP, but to have multiple characters, like the universes collide, which is essentially what this is like Jim said, peak 90s freaking awesomeness. So, man, as a 90s collector, that announcement had me just like excited more than anything else. I mean, I remember being excited when Todd and Jim announced Batman versus Spawn. I was like, shh. Didn't get up. I mean, I'm sure it sold a lot of books, but it didn't feel like it generated all that much buzz or excitement, except for people from maybe my generation. But this is on a whole nother level. We're not talking like Image DC. We're talking Marvel DC. Freaking amalgam characters. Dark Claw. Super Soldier. I mean, that's freaking 90s. That's 90s goodness right there. 90s amalgam goodness right there. So, man, it's like it just has me excited. Let's just put it that way. I got something to look forward to, getting those books, but not only those books, but just seeing the chatter build up. I hope people really understand, like, maybe they don't. Maybe I'm just like one of the only old Gen X farts that kind of have my ear to these kinds of things. But I mean, I was excited when they announced Superman's going to be a movie. Okay, but which I'm still very excited about, by the way. But this sort of tease by Jim Lee. And the fact that he's doing Marvel artwork for the first time in 30 years has me like just giddy. Like, yes, more, please. Give me more. So yeah, that's give me more 90s goodness. Give me all this crap right here. before I die, just make it happen. Bring these guys to the DC universe. You're already DC. This is DC content right here. Who wouldn't want to see Deathblow versus Punisher? Come on. Deathblow versus Punisher. We all want to see that, right? I mean, at this point, I'd just be satisfied with another good Wolverine versus Sabretooth on-screen battle. Maybe a Terra Man appearance. Something. Give me something, man. Something to be excited about. All right, what else went on this week? Shohei Ohtani got married to a basketball player. Which is great. I really, like, my wife and I were talking, and I kind of called it. I like to call things. We were really curious because he announced he got married to just a regular person, not a celebrity, not a supermodel or anything like that. And I said, and his mom was, I think, a badminton, or it was either basketball or badminton. She was like an athlete. She was a professional athlete in badminton, I think. So she's very, maybe it was basketball. Anyway, she was tall, very athletic, and that her sports background influenced Shohei growing up. And I was like, when the news came out that he got married, I was saying to my wife, I bet his wife is an athlete. I bet she plays volleyball or basketball or something. And lo and behold, she plays basketball, and she's very attractive. They've released, so there's nothing confirmed from the Ohtani camp, but there's swirling rumors, and I think he confirmed her identity, and there's swirling rumors that it's this particular basketball player, and there's photos of the basketball player, and she's very attractive. She's obviously tall because she's a basketball player, very athletic build, but very she's you could see her modeling. She's just pretty, right? She's naturally pretty, very effeminate too, so yeah, it's finally kind of got a glimpse of that. We're all very curious, I'm sure. So that was kind of cool to see. So what are my plans for the coming week? I am going to stop in at Disney City Comics. I think I'm going to stop in on Monday and pick up the books that I have. And what I've made a decision. I'm going to try to sell my books there, but if I don't get the price I want, I'm not going to sell the books. Now, there's a good chance Ethan will give me the price I want. I essentially want like $1 per book for, kind of what I have. And of course, in bulk, right? I do my whole overflow, which is like 160 comics or so. So we're looking like $160 for the whole thing. It's basically a box full of keys. Pretty much every book in that box is a key, except for some of the Daredevil stuff. But they're mostly keys. So, I think I have that going for me. I think Ethan will be able to shell out $160 for a box full of keys. Pay $1 per key. I don't think that's a big. There's signed books in there as well. So, Um, hopefully he's on board now. If I don't get the price that I want, I'm fine to just take the collection, keep it. And if I don't, if I end up bringing the books back, I am going to try to sell them as mystery boxes. So what I'm going to do is let's just put one together here. I'm going to pick 10 random comics here. Well, I mean, it probably wouldn't be. These are actually really, I think, too good for a. They might be too good for. But anyway, it'd be like a $20. I'd want to do it as like a $20 mystery box where you get 10 books. So $2 a book, and you get. This is just again. This is an example. It's not exactly what you get. Obviously, if you buy a mystery box and you tell me what you like and all that, I'll try to cater it around your likes. But you get like books like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like that. That's kind of like a great sort of example of what you could get, right? 10 random, and most of these are keys again. Maybe a couple of them aren't. Like these 90s Spider. That's a great John Romita Jr. cover, by the way, but that's the key. So, yeah, it'd be a $20 mystery box shipped where you get 10 books. I would select the books. I obviously want to kind of, each mystery box has to have at least a big book in there, right? But you'd be making $20 of value, I think, easy with a mystery box. The only issue is I do want, at the end of this, if I have maybe 12 mystery boxes planned out. What I'd want to ensure is I have the money I want to kind of reap from the sales, as well as account for the shipping. So the $20 mystery box, you're paying $20 for 10 books, getting each book for 20. But actually I have to pay like, $4 to $5 of that towards shipping. So I'm actually only making about 16 at most, 15 to 16 at most from that mystery box, which is fine. Like that's kind of like how I'm structuring it. Where I make $15, you get 10 books for 20, but they're shipped to you. And I'm just going to kind of put them, I'm going to consolidate it. Have that double bag on board. Just forgive me, but I got to get it as, as light and as, as light and compact as I can in a mailer to ship it out to you guys. So just keep that in mind. Like it's a $20 mystery box. You're going to get 10 books. I'm going to use a portion of the $20 for shipping. And that's the other option to get really, I think, the value I want for these books. And again, you're getting about each book at $2 a pop, where I'm trying to sell them to Destiny City Comics, where we're getting about $1 per book for the bulk. But I think this is a good plan B option as well, and it's something I think you guys will enjoy too. Like, um, especially if you kind of like the books that I have in my collection, or like if you like the books that I pick up, the books that I have in the overflow box. I go back and watch some videos where I show off what's in that overflow box. Um, if you have a specific book, like for example, this is a good example of what I just picked up. Where did I put it? Yeah, like this is a great example, like this one. This is like a $30 book. But if you're wanting this book in your mystery box, just say you want it. I'm not going to give you like 10 books of this caliber in that mystery box, but I will definitely ship this one in your mystery box along with 9 other books. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to continue to kind of, this is sort of my first promotion of this mystery box, I guess. But I will continue to promote it. I'll create some Instagram posts, maybe like use of Canva, and just make it nice and legible in terms of what we're trying to do. But it's going to be a random thing. You can request certain books, but for the most part, I do want to distribute the sort of the value to each mystery box, so that every mystery box gets like a big key. And obviously every mystery box is going to have some non-keys in it as well, but for the most part, they're mostly going to be keys. If you're going to get, you probably get 2 or 3 non-keys, and then like 7 key books. So, but again, I'm going to try to make all the mystery boxes in terms of value kind of run the same level. Now, some mystery boxes might end up being a little bit maybe extra, but I guess I can kind of, what would be the biggest book in here? There's nothing that screams like big book, except yeah, there's nothing that screams big book. I mean, there are some big books in here though. Don't want to diminish that. I guess if you're a Jim Lee fan, like these might be considered big books. I would, if I was ordering the mystery box, I would definitely want the Jim Lee books, but that's not me. That's not you guys. I guess like some of this Venom run might be like, I'm not giving away number 1, but like number 5 is a pretty big book. Number 4 is a big book, I think. So yeah, I mean that's kind of how I'm leaning right now. We got books like this great Alex Ross Batman cover. That's a great book. It'll go in somebody's mystery box. So I think that'll be a fun way. This way, like I don't have to pay for the shipping. You guys are already paying for it as part of the $20, because it's 20 shipped. I have the materials here. It'll come in a mailer, and who knows? You never know what else is going to be added to it. So again, if there's room to add a little bit more, you can expect to get a little bit more, but that's kind of where I am with that. I'm hoping, you know, I don't want it to be a dragged out thing. If you do the mystery boxes, it's got to be kind of like, gotta do them quick. Gotta, you know, I'll give you like maybe a time range to let me know you guys want one, but I'll I'll be posting like how to make payments and all that. I got a Venmo account, so we'll share the Venmo and just get it going. But again, it all depends if I come back from Disney City without the price I want. If I can sell it as like a bulk thing for the price I want, that's what we'll do. But if I come back with the books, because you don't want to pay what we were asking, then at that point, yeah, I'll just sell them as mystery boxes, and you guys just let me know like a character. I mean, I don't have like a lot of Thor. Don't have much Iron. I mean, I have a few Iron Man. I guess if you're like, I want some Dave Stevens or something like that. I don't have any Dave Stevens books or anything like that, so it has to be something within the realm of what I have. So like, if you like X-Men, if you like Wolverine, if you like stuff like that, that's what we'll try to load your box with. Okay, should be cool. But again, I'm not going to get started on that until later. I think $20 is a really good price for a mystery box for 10 books. Just think of it as like a curated list of books that I would like. If you were to send me if you gave me $20 to go into like a dollar bin or a $2 bin and pull out books, these are the books I would come out with for you. Just like, you tell me what you like, here's $20, and that's kind of what I'm doing. Like, I've already done sort of the due diligence of amassing all these books, but at the end of the day, I'm just kind of curate it and wrap it and send it your way. So it should be a win-win for both of us. And hopefully, again, I don't anticipate any of you being like, man, I got ripped off, or this sucks. I don't anticipate that at all. So, you're gonna get your, especially if you're a comic book collector, you're gonna get your value back and more. Because again, a lot of these books are not $2; they're actually much higher. So, all right. With that being said, there's not much more for me to talk about. So I'm just gonna let you guys go. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Again, I'm gonna prepare that, top Jim Lee books in my collection. Probably make it 50, top 50 books and Jim Lee books in my collection. I'll have that ready at some point. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be in the next day or so, but kind of gotta make the list first, dig all the books out, and then we'll go from there. But it should be a fun time. And then, stay tuned for the Destiny City Comics haul, which should be next weekend. We're just gonna, I got about $60, $70. I already have 3 books there on hold for me. Once we pick those up, we're gonna just kind of dig and see what value we can find in the dollar bins and in the back issue bins, and see what we come back with. I always come back with something cool from Destiny City Comics. So it should be good. I already know the 3 books I got are going to be nice. So just sharing those 3 books alone would be worth admission next weekend. So stay tuned. All right. Again, have a great weekend, and peace out.